Welcome to the June edition of Littleton Common. I'm Mark Crory, joined with Barbara McRae. Welcome back, Barbara.
Well, thanks. And I want to thank Nancy Hilsinger for sitting in for me on the May show while I was fighting the flu. And I had 3 weeks run for my money and never want to get the flu again. Enough of that and on to better things. So, Mark, what have you been up to?
Well, I have been as busy as a bee. And do you know why I say that, Barbara? Because June is Pollinators Month. You know what Pollinators Month is? It's when all the bees do their little thing and they pollinate.
Well, of course.
Yes, and Littleton is going to be celebrating Pollinator Month. I don't know how, except maybe what I just said was their celebration. That's the extent of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you see a little bee out there, you know, if he gets caught in your house, don't kill him.
No.
You know, trap him, let him loose.
Pet him.
At least in June. July is a different story.
Just send him outside and on his way and tell him to go.
That's right, exactly.
But don't hurt him, because we need them.
We do need the bees.
We need them. Spring Fling was hosted by Park and Rec and COA. And if you missed it, you missed the talented Carol Wing and her band, Momentum. There was food and dancing, just fun, all for everyone. I think summer is coming, even though we aren't getting a clear picture. If it's spring, is it summer, fall, or winter? Haven't put the winter clothes away yet, but slowly working on summer things like short sleeves, long sleeves, hard to decide sleeves. I don't think the meteorologists know for sure either. How about the Memorial Day?
Memorial Day, that's pretty good. The parade took place for the first time since 2019. And here's a little flavor of what the day looked like. You can watch the ceremony in its entirety on LCTV or LCTV On Demand and YouTube.
I always have enjoyed seeing our vets in uniform, and I was happy to have my picture taken with one handsome soldier. Town meeting on May 2nd offered good news for us seniors. A big thank you to all who helped gain the step up to begin a true senior center. It has been a long time, but perhaps we can start looking forward to having a larger place with many programs and seniors to come and enjoy what is there for them. And maybe in our lifetime. Now, if we can get our plans of a thrift shop settled, we will be off to a great start. Our thrift shop was high on the list for shoppers far and wide. Also, a great fundraiser for the Friends of the COA. We have had so many requests to open again. And maybe when it opens, there will be a fashion show to show off the beautiful things that are there for sale.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for the fashion show.
Yeah.
Leptospirosis. It's a word I'm sure it's on everyone's lips these days, right? Well, what the heck does it mean? Well, veterinarian Don Brooks is here with this month's Critter Corner to tell you all about that funny word.
Hi, this time I would like to talk to you about another disease that we see in dogs called leptospirosis. Leptospirosis is not nearly as well known as Lyme disease, but it is as worrisome to us as clinicians as it is to Lyme disease. Leptospirosis is a bacterial disease. It affects many wildlife animals. It is transmitted through the urine of those wild animals, and it can live in soil and in water sources for months to years. In fact, water or moist environments actually encourage the bacteria to live longer than if it was dry and arid. And so this past year, we had lots of rainfall last summer. We saw the number of cases of leptospirosis go up dramatically in our pets. Dogs that go outdoors, even into the backyard, are at risk. Years ago, we only saw it in dogs that went off leash in the woods. These days, we're seeing it even in backyard dogs. The newest subset of dogs are actually indoor, small breed dogs in inner city environments where the rodent population is transmitting the disease. The way you contract the disease is picking it up from contaminated soil, coming in contact with water that's been contaminated. If you consume or if it gets into an open cut in your hand or in your dog's body, you get infected that way. It likes to live in the kidney, number one, but it can also live in the liver. Many dogs that are not vaccinated when they get exposed to lepto will get sick very quickly and quite severely. In the cases that I have had of acute leptospirosis in unprotected dogs, they have died from liver and kidney failure, usually within 1 to 2 days of the diagnosis and onset of symptoms. So very, very bad. To save a dog that has that level of disease usually is a $10,000 plus bill at an emergency practice with 24-hour care, and not many people can afford to do that. So vaccination can protect your animal from getting severe disease. Now, I did say it protects against severe disease. Your dog can still get lepto. However, they don't get the type of disease that causes them to be sick and hospitalized. Usually we're catching it because we're running annual blood work testing, so wellness blood screens. Most animals may be asymptomatic, and we find that their values are elevated, and it makes us go, maybe we should think about that. Or they present with just nonspecific GI signs, not eating great, maybe a little vomiting, acting punky. We run blood work, and lo and behold, we see problems with liver and kidney. These particular infections are responsive very nicely to antibiotic therapy, so treatment is available. So no fret if your dog gets it. But we do want to make sure that you do take your veterinarian's recommendations for regular blood work. Make sure that you talk to your veterinarian about recommendations for vaccination. Now in New England, lepto is a real problem. We are seeing cases every week across Middlesex County. So something that you want to talk to your doctor about if we haven't done it before. There's a lot of information on the internet about side effects of vaccines for leptospirosis. Prior to about 2012, our leptospirosis vaccines were what we call noisy. When they make these vaccines, they're taking a section of the bacteria and they're letting in the lab allow things to react to it, and those antibodies are what they inject into your body and get a response. Well, what they were finding with the early vaccines is there were so many things to react to on the surface of that bacteria that the vaccine had a lot of stuff in it, which created a big immune response. So a lot of reports of dogs, especially toy breed dogs, having anaphylactic reactions. The vaccines were revamped in the right around 2020, 21, 22. 2010, 11, 12. And when they did that, they were able to clean up the noise and finesse the vaccine, so we were only stimulating the immune system a little bit. Since then, we've been able to successfully vaccinate dogs of all breeds with no severe reactions. Maybe soreness at the site at the most. With multiple vaccinations, your dog might feel kind of crummy, so we might talk about medicating your dog prior to vaccination or spreading vaccines out. But it is something that you really should consider. Now, one more thing I want to mention about leptospirosis, it is zoonotic. What that means is people can get lepto by either coming in direct contact with infected urine or infected soil and water sources. So gardening in your backyard is the type of thing. So wear gloves, make sure that you wash your hands well, and if you're not feeling good, of course, contact your doctor.
Hi there, I'm here with a special guest today from the Rotary, Phillip Souza, and we're going to talk about the Appleman Triathlon, and then we'll talk about the Community Corps, which I think you'll be interested in. So, welcome.
Thank you, Barbara. It's good to be back.
Well, good, and you're back and you're busy already.
We are busy. It's 2 months until the event, and there's much to do, and many hands are needed. So
yeah, I bet. So what's the date of it again?
This year's event will be July 17th down at Long Lake, as usual.
Okay.
And all the details can be found on applemantriathlon.com, but it's 8 o'clock is the start of the race, but most people show up around 6:30, get registered.
Well, yeah, because then they also maybe can walk around a little bit, get some
warmed
exercise
up.
before they start, because that is really a tough, run, and
right.
all the other things that go with it.
It is.
But anyway, so you have the registration. What happens next?
Well, the event is not just one event, number one. So participants can choose to enter into the triathlon, which is 3 legs. So you have a swim, a bike, and a run. People can also choose to do what's called a duathlon, which is a bike and a run, but eliminates the swim for those of us who have trouble. There's also a relay event, so you can have a team of people where one member of the team can swim, one member can bike, and the next member can run. And there, a 4th event is called, now we call it the aqua bike. So people who don't like to run can simply swim and then bike. So they can choose amongst the four events. So once registering starts on Saturdays, so people will come on Saturday, they'll get their bib. Usually
Will they go to Long Lake?
They'll go to Long Lake and they'll get registered. They'll get their T-shirts, they'll get their bib, they'll get a little swag bag, and all the volunteers will show up and get everything set up on Saturday so that bright and early Sunday we're ready to go.
Oh, sounds great. But it does sound like you'll need volunteers.
So one of the things that we focus on every year is getting new people to volunteer. Last year we had greater tthan 100, which seems like a lot, but there's many things to do. We need people on the race course. We need people to set up all of the bike racks and the buoys in the water, hand out T-shirts. So there's a lot to do. So anybody out in the audience who wants to have a good time and have a little something to eat and meet great people, I encourage you to go to the website and sign up to volunteer, and just click on volunteer and we'll be glad to have you.
Well, I hope you get many more people to volunteer. And you know that Littleton is a volunteer town. Really,
Yes.
They have a lot of volunteers, so that's a good sign.
It is.
So give us a little history about the triathlon.
Well, Rotary's main goal is to support community organizations and even international organizations, not only with service, but financially.
Yeah.
So to do that, we need to have mechanisms to raise money. We have several, but the Appleman is the largest fundraiser of the year for the Littleton Club. We started in 2004 with the first race, and since then, which is now approaching 20 years, the club has raised well over $300,000, which goes to support food banks, and it goes to support other organizations that need help financially. So that, the only year, I think 2020, we did not have the event because of COVID, and that was really a significant effect on the club's ability to support these organizations, because we had to tail back on a little bit of our giving.
Right.
So hoping this year that we'll recover and get some more money in so that we can continue to support
That'd
the
be
community.
great.
Well,
Well, let's hope that you do. Yeah, I'm listening to fundraising, and I'm thinking about raising money for the seniors. We could have a senior-a-thon
you can,
or something.
I'm sure we could do walkers and wheelchairs.
Wheelchairs,
and
the whole
whatever,
thing.
and,
That would be, I think it would be neat.
yeah.
But
So
and
one
anything fun,
right.
that's the thing
So
to
one
do.
thing I would want to say to the audience is we have a number of sponsors who don't participate in the race necessarily, but give willingly to support the event. So when you see the T-shirts, usually you'll see the names of the sponsors. So please, in the audience, please go out and visit those sponsors and support them as well.
Yeah, that's good, because I'm sure some of them have favorites.
Yes.
So they would do that. Well, you got your fundraising in there and your history, and so is there anything else that you want to mention about it?
Well, we still, right now, and we're doing pretty well, we have about 100 entries, and it's May. So we usually see more entries in June, late June and July. But again, I encourage people in the audience, family, friends, go on the website, sign up for the whole triathlon, or just do the aqua bike or the duathlon, the relay, or just come down and watch. I think it's a fun event, and it's really meant not only to raise money, but to provide a place for the community to come together,
Right, that's good.
and have a day of enjoyment. And so we do have, food available, and cheering sections, announcing, and so it ends up being a place for the community to come together.
Good. I hope that many do come, and I hope many join.
I do.
So good luck to that.
Okay.
But we have one other thing I wanted you to talk about, and that's your community core.
Right. So those of you who might have watched last time I was here, the community core are non-Rotarians who volunteer their time to provide service to the community. One of the advantages of the community core that is different than Rotary is there are no meetings to attend, there are no dues to pay, there are really no obligations other than if you have a skill or if you have free time and you'd like to give back to the community, this is a good way to do it. And we've started this a couple years ago, and since then we've had several projects that we've sponsored through the community core. One is in the wintertime, we have snow shovel teams that we say adopt a family or adopt a senior for the winter season, and these teams go down in snowstorms after the fact and will shovel and de-ice and basically take care of their adopted person, senior, or family. What's nice about it is it's also included many students from Littleton High School who use that as a way to get community service hours.
Right, that's a good one.
Yeah, in which they need to graduate. So that's one way we provide that. We've also had the Boy Scouts helped us assemble emergency kits for seniors. We assembled 100 kits in one night.
Wow.
And the Council on Aging and Elder Affairs has now handed those out to seniors in the community. And that includes some food, some mechanisms to let people know that they're there, just something to tide them over for a few hours or even a day in case of a power outage.
Right.
And then we provide transportation to seniors who need rides to medical appointments, and that's worked out pretty well. And then we've also actually provided, in some cases, some light maintenance to people who need repairs around their house, who quite frankly can't afford financially to go hire a handyman or a contractor. So we've had several of those.
Yeah.
So that's worked out very well. I would say one thing we really need is more members for the community corps. So if anybody out there has an hour or two, even a month, please go to the website. There's a community corps website, or go to the Rotary email account, which is littleton.mass.rotary.com. Send an email and I'll certainly respond. Right now we have 20 to 30. We'd really like 100.
Oh, yeah.
So
Sounds like it. And, you know, if you're retired or if you're just home and you want to do something, this sounds like the place to go. So hopefully, let's hope that we get a lot of people to volunteer, because there's a lot of talent here.
there is.
And so
There
maybe
is.
that'll work out.
Yeah. No, so I really appreciate the chance to come on, and also, like I say, the community corps really is no obligation other than if you have a desire to help the community. This
Right.
is a way to do it.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good deal.
It is.
And I'm glad you came on
Thank you.
and gave us all the information. And so think about the Apple telethon, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Guess where I am? Triathlon, and also the community corps. They're very important things. First one is fun, and I think I'd probably make it from the table to when you begin, and that'd be it for me. But anyway, think about these two things, and especially the community corps.
All Littletonians know the big corner building on the Common at the intersection of 119 and 110. It's known as the Conant Building. But how did it get its name? Well, this month's Littleton History Moment will tell you just that. We'll be talking about Albert Francis Conant. Now, Mr. Conant was born June 8th, 1843 in Stowe, Massachusetts, to Francis and Sophia Goldsmith, remember that name, Conant. He was the oldest of 10 children. Now, the family moved from Stowe to Boxborough, where Albert completed his schooling. And as a boy, however, he spent quite a bit of time at his maternal grandparents' farm on Goldsmith Street, after his father was badly injured in a logging accident. So he went on to higher education and was educated at the Groton Academy, and afterwards taught for 5 years in Harvard and Littleton. He was a school teacher, and in 1867 he was the first principal of the new Union School on Shattuck Street, which was the first graded school in Littleton, and he served as school superintendent during the Civil War. Well, in 1868, at 25 years old, he and his brother Nelson, who was 2 years younger than him, purchased the general store at the Common, and convinced that the states were coming out of the Depression that followed the Civil War. The early years proved to be a struggle, and the first 5 years were critical while the country righted itself. One struggle was the evolution of money following the years of specie payment. Now, Albert recalled having to ask Horatio Smith, the harness maker, to make a strong cowhide satchel capable of carrying 10 or 15 pounds of pennies on their weekly trips to Boston. So, of course, the store flourished, and in 1900, the brothers enlarged the store to the building we know today. Albert and Nelson also operated 2 grain stores in Littleton, one at the depot and the other at East Littleton on the Nashua to Acton Railroad. They also brought in coal that had been replacing wood as a fuel source. Nelson eventually joined his son in the coal business, and the brothers sold the store in 1923 to Charles Houghton and George Harwood. All these names you should recognize, folks. Well, in 1869, the year after purchasing the store, Albert married Sarah Patton, who had succeeded him as principal of the Union School. They had 5 children, 3 boys and 2 girls, all of whom went to college, which showed their parents' commitment to education. The Conants lived in the grand house which was located where Archer's Mobile Station is, at the Common. Sadly, the house was destroyed by fire in March of 1950. Albert was well-read and had many interests. He was involved in many aspects of town government as well, besides education. He served as an enrollment and recruiting officer during the Civil War, when he was barely of age. He heard Abraham Lincoln speak in Lowell, and he cast his first ballot for Lincoln in the 1864 election. Later, he was a selectman, town treasurer, as well as serving as a school committee member. He and his wife were founding members of the Littleton Historical Society. And at 96, he contributed a paper to the Congregational Church's centennial celebration. Well, Albert died in 1941 and is buried at the West Lawn Cemetery. So I want to thank Carolyn Mueller, the president of the Littleton Historical Society, for providing the background for this month's look at Littleton history. Did you know any of that?
No, none of it.
None of it. But I mean, it's so funny when you read some of these stories of the people and the names in town that just stick out to you.
Right.
The Houghton Building, of course, is where the Historical Society is now. Used to be the library.
Yeah,
That's
right.
the Houghton Building.
I remember.
And then, you know, Goldsmith, we've got Harwood, we've got all these names that we know, and so just a rich history. But it's funny how many hats that he wore,
Right.
Mr. Conant.
Yeah, he did. Even as a newcomer, though, seeing the names on streets or buildings or something, you know that when you meet someone with that name, oh, they must be from that family, you know. It's,
right, exactly.
So, and you think about Littleton as being historical anyway,
Right.
just with the people who lived here.
Yeah. Yeah, just a walk around the cemetery around Memorial Day, you get to look at all the different stones, and you can see all the street names,
Yeah.
all up there in West Lawn. So,
Right.
yeah.
They should have a Crory Street, do they?
No, we're infamous, not famous. It's a little different. Now, some news from the Littleton Public Schools. Littleton Public School school bus registration, the online dates for that, they began May 16th. They run until June 30th. So you want to go to littletonps.org. There will not be registration in person, so that's the only way you can register is online. So if you have questions or registration issues, please email busregistration@littletonps.org. Now the fees for the fiscal year 22-23 calendar year are $225 a student or $675 as a family cap. You want to get in early though before June 30th because for late registration fee, that is anything after June 30th, it's an additional $25 a student. So make sure you please go on to littletonps.org and look for the bus registration link. Something new, the varsity boys basketball team is holding a basketball clinic for boys entering grades 4 through 9. The clinic will run from June 27th until June 30th. It's from 9 a.m. to noon at the LHS Gymnasium. It'll be a fun-filled week of skills, drills, and plenty of games. So all participants will receive one-on-one coaching from current varsity players and coaches. And the proceeds from this clinic will go directly to the Littleton boys basketball program. So if a student can't attend all the sessions, because we understand there's a Marcus Smart basketball camp that a lot of students from Littleton are attending, which is Monday and Tuesday, you can still attend Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the cost of the clinic is prorated, so you'll get a reduction in the fee. So for that, you want to visit www.littletonrec.com because it's sponsored through the rec department. Or you can call 978-540-2490, which is also the Park and Recreation to register. There you go.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I hope a lot of kids go, and maybe we'll get some players.
Future Larry Birds.
Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah.
There is a lot to do and celebrate in June. First, we have Flag Day and time to wave our country's flag, and that's on Tuesday, June 14th. Next, we have Father's Day, Sunday, June 19th. Now, Mom got her cards and her candy and her flowers in May, but what do we get Dad? That's the big question. Just don't forget a card. And here comes the first day of summer. It's Tuesday, June 21st. Did you hear that, Mother Nature? No snow or 40 degrees. It's summer. Any plans for the summer, Mark? Do you have your lawnmower and your rakes ready?
Everything's all fired up, ready to go. I've already mowed the lawn twice, so that's good. Yeah, I just want to add a little bit onto the Father's Day thing. You know, sometimes moms say, "Oh, you don't need to get me anything. Just, your love is enough." Well,
Yeah,
fathers,
right.
no, we need stuff. All right, I've got a list. It's in alphabetical order, and I'm going to register at various Home Depots and things like that. So if anybody, even if you're not a son of mine, if you want to go out and get me something for Father's Day, that would be greatly appreciated.
Well, I told Steph to get her father's a watering can, and I'm going to get him a lawnmower. No, he got a lawnmower. His wheelbarrow.
Oh, nice. Well, of course, you just ruined the surprise.
No, that's okay.
Oh, he already knows it. Okay.
He never watches
probably-
the show.
Don't say that. All right. Tell us about the garden club.
Okay. The Littleton Garden Club had their annual plant sale in May, and in spite of the wind and the cold, they sold their beautiful plants and fairy gardens. In fact, I got one
Oh, nice.
as a gift.
And we're seeing a picture of it right now.
Right.
Isn't that pretty? Pretty. All right, well, now it's time to announce the winner from last month's trivia question. As I said on the last show, the plan was to enter the first 5 correct responses into a drawing and draw it on this month's show. However, we only received 1 correct response. In fact, we only received 1 response, so there is no need to draw a winner. I can announce that the winner for last month's question is Gerard Cavallo. I hope I said your name right, Gerard. The question was, what town committee did Teddy McElroy serve on? And the answer was the Industrial Committee. So congratulations to Gerard. You win a $50 gift certificate to Donlands Supermarket. Now, for this month's trivia question. Now remember, the answer to the question can be found in something that we mention on this month's show. Okay, here it is. What year did Albert Conant become the first principal of the very first graded school, which was the newly built Union School on Shattuck Street? If you think you know the answer, email me the answer at mcrory@littletonma.org with the subject line of Littleton Common Trivia. Please be sure to include your name and address in the body of the text so that we can contact you if you win. The first 5 correct answers will be put into a hat, and the winner will be drawn on next month's show. So, what is the prize for next month? Well, it's something as valuable as gold these days. Gas. The winner will receive a $50 gas card. That's right, $50. That'll get you at least 1 or 2 gallons. Right? I want to give an extra special thanks to Cheryl Cowley Hollinger from Cowley Associates for donating this month's and next month's prizes. We thank her so much.
That's great, really. And I can't remember that date, or I would try to win that.
Oh, I forgot to mention, employees and co-hosts are not eligible for participation in the.
Well,
Yeah,
fine, I'll stay home.
I'll
from-
take you out. I'll buy you gas next month. How's that?
Okay, well, you know, be careful out there while you're out in your yard mowing, planting, whatever, because tick season has already started. Protect yourself and use tick repellent. Also, check yourself, your children, and your pets. But have a healthy and enjoyable June. But please don't forget our seniors.